Hi guys, and welcome to the Warhammer Lady. So, it's time for demons. I've basically just gotten back from my local Games Workshop store and I fetched up all my demons. In this video, I thought I'd just give you a quick rundown on the biggest changes to the codex that I've seen so far. I spent my trip back from my store to read through the codex. I haven't gone through it thoroughly yet, but I have the biggest changes narrowed down. I will make a complete review later on, so again I stress this is not a review, it's a awesome news, kind of. Let's get started. The biggest change for the demons is, well, one of the biggest changes, it's deployment. No, we can no longer deploy as demons used to deploy. The first few minutes I was kind of bummed out. I was like, what? They only have deep strike? But then I was like, okay, seriously, how often do I actually want to put all of my stuff right next to my opponents? To be fair, when I play my soul grinders and when I want to take objectives on the back of the board, I place my demons very, very far off, and sometimes I don't even want to deep strike, for example with chariots, because they're big and they scatter and they mishap. So I think that this deep strike change is actually quite good. It gives you the option to put your entire army on the board to start with, or to deep strike at least half of your units. So I'm not sad about this change at all. Another big change is lore-wise, actually. Being affiliated with the Chaos God now actually means something. They have, well, this page here, this is awesome, this is just changes everywhere. For example, if you're a demon of Khorne, say a bloodletter, then you have, well, except for demon of course, the Furious Charge special rule, and hatred for demons of Slaanesh. And this goes along for the other demons as well, they hate one of the gods. And also for Khorne, chariots have Hammer of Wrath hits that resolve at strength 7. So if you're a Khorne demon, if you're a Nurgle demon, it means something, and I think this is great. I think this was missing, and it's great that they incorporated this into the rules. There's also something called a Warpstorm table, and here there is magics that if you're a Khorne, for example, you can target demons of Slaanesh. But I'll get to that. It's just a brilliant change. Let's see here. Oh yes, we also have a Warlord trait table, as well as all the other codexes that have, well, the new codexes that have special Warlord traits, so do we. And I must say that these Warlord traits are insane. There's not a single one of these that I would not like to have. For example, Warlord trait number 1 is called Death Incarnate. And this means that the Warlord's melee weapons have the instant death special rule. And all I can think about is my puny Herald of Tzeentch that just goes into close combat and kills something big. Oh, I think this is great. So yes, that was Warlord traits. Again, I will go through all of these things later on in videos, so this is just to give you a basic understanding of that there are changes. All of demons also now have something called demonic instability. This is not the funniest change I've ever seen. In close combat, if your unit loses close combat, it rolls a leadership test. And on a double 1, reality blinks. Then all of the wounds in your unit is restored and it says nothing ever happened during close combat. This is great. This is like, wow, my entire unit is back, nothing died. On a double 6, however, you're banished. You remove the entire unit from play. This is not all that happens. If you fail your leadership test by, say if I have leadership 7 and I roll 10, then I will take 3 wounds with no saves of any kind allowed on that unit. Again, this might not be the funniest rule change. I'm not sure that they have it in fantasy as well, so I've been told. This is the first time I've seen it in 40k, and even though lore-wise, again, it's kind of fun that demons are not supposed to be in the human realm, so there is always a possible chance that they will be banished and that they will get hurt because they change in some sort of way. That's fun, but it might be hard to play with. Well, I don't know. They've changed the Demon Codex a lot. a lot. So this rule will not make the demons bad. It won't make them a unstable, super not good army. You get my point. It's a change, but it's not super significant. Okay? Warp Storm. If your primary detachment is chosen from this codex, roll 2d6 at the start of each of your shooting phases. And again, this is the table. This has some really bad stuff and some really awesome stuff. For example, on 2, then you have to, all of your units in your entire army have to roll for the demonic instability special rule that I just read to you. So potentially this could hurt real bad. You could also, as I said before this, the gods hating each other. There is, for example, if you roll 6, rot, glorious rot. You roll a d6 for each unengaged friendly unit that are demons of Cinch, and for all unengaged enemy models. And on a roll of 6, the unit suffers a d6 strength strength 4 AP3 hits, with poison 4+ and ignores cover. I think this is really fun. The gods have one result each, so it's not just Nurgle. They all have it, and this is really fun. It is. I like the fact that my units hate each other. They get together and they defeat puny humans and so forth, but they do actually want to kill each other. And I think they've implemented this really well. Other things that can happen, for example, that are good, is that you can get to summon a new unit consisting of 2d6 plus 3, so always a minimum of 4, Bloodletters, Pink Horrors, Plaguebearers, or Demonettes. Ta-ta! Well, I'll get to the table again, but this is real fun. As I said, every shooting phase, as long as it's your primary detachment. Another big thing that has changed now is that demons have psychic powers. And there are 3 disciplines, for Tzeentch, for Slaanesh, and for Nurgle. Khorne doesn't have one, obviously. They all have Primaris powers and warp charges and so forth, just like the Chaos Codex that came out, for example. Some of these are really, really good. Discipline of Plague, for example. The Primaris power is Steam of Corruption, and it's a template with no strength but AP3, Assault 1, and Poison 4+. 1 warp charge. It's a good psychic power. It's I like this change, I do. And it's not only, well, for example, Kairos, we all expected it. He is now a Psyker of Mastery level 4. Also, Pink Horrors are Psykers. And they don't have their ordinary shooting attacks. Before you could have 10 Pink Horrors and they make potentially 30 shots. And they would kill off things. Now if you have 10 Pink Horrors in a group, they have 1 warp charge to spend. Not for each of the models, just 1 warp charge together. And they can choose one of the powers here from Discipline of Change. Well, you roll for it. And you can always take the Primaris power. But here's the important stuff. If you have 1 to 10 Pink Horrors, it's 1 warp charge. If you have 11 to 15, you have 2 warp charges, and 16 to 20, you have 3 warp charges. Yes, you can now have lots of Pink Horrors in 1 unit. And then there's this special Primaris power for Discipline of Change. It's called Flickering Fire of Tzeentch, and you can spend 1 to 3 warp charges on it. It's a 24 range, Strength 5 AP4, Assault 2d6, Soul Blaze and Warp Flame, and this is a special demon, special rule that I'll go through later on, sorry. And this is special because it has, as I said, 2d6, but if you spend 2 warp charges, it's 3d6 hits. If you spend 3 warp charges, it's 4d6 hits. So potentially your Pink Horrors of 20 can fire off 4 shots, or 24. So it's a, well, it's randomized. And I like that. It's kind of chaotic. Also, your Pink Horrors can now kill off things when they die. Blue Horror style. As I said, I'll go through psychic powers again later on. I've made some notes here so that I won't miss any awesome stuff to tell you. That's why I'm looking down at the moment. Oh yes. I think you're all dying to know if the Screamers and the Very Broken Flamers are the same. The Screamers have not changed a bit. They still have Lamprey's Bite, it does the same, AP2, Strength 5, still same point cost, the same stat line. The only thing that has changed is that they have Leadership 7 now instead of 10. It might seem weird, but then you have to think that this new rule, the demonic instability, is now in effect. So potentially they could be banished in close combat. And so they don't really have to lower the point cost anymore. Flamers though. They needed a change, we all knew it, they were super broken. They still have template weapons, but the template weapons are not as good. Duh. It's Strength 4, AP 4. And they have a special rule called Warm Flame. So what this does is that you could potentially give your opponent a Feel No Pain on 6+ for the rest of the game. Awesome. This point cost is still the same, they have the same stat line, but their weapon has changed. So for you guys who bought 18 Flamers, shame on you. You're the reason they changed it. No, but seriously, it needed a change. It was way too overpowered. Myself, I only have 3 Flamers because otherwise my opponents would kill me for being mean. And I can actually look at my Flamers now and say, okay, I think I'm still going to use it. They won't be the same. I won't put them down anywhere on the board and they won't take out anything that they feel like. They will be able to take out specific units. And I will play them different, but I will still use them. Had I had 18 Flamers, I would be sad. Another thing that has changed is the point cost of this army. An example for you. Before this codex came out, before I bought any new models at all, I had 1,850 points of demons. I now have 1,250 points. So it's gone down by 600 points, basically. And you may say that Games Workshop is evil. They want us to buy their precious minis and give them more money. Yes, that may be true. But you also have a choice. They've lowered the point cost, almost half the point cost for all the troop choices. But the elite choices of your army, there are more now because of all the new models that they released. And they're still the same. They're good, and you can choose to make a ginormous demonic horde if you feel like it. And you can also have a elite demon horde so that you don't have to spend as much money on it. Basically, you have a choice of what you want to do. I like this. I myself have always wanted to try out to have a demonic horde because it feels like I should be able to have 20 pink horrors running along, you know? I can now. I like that change. Oh yes, another thing that has changed as well is demonic alignment. Your Herald, for example, if you have Herald of Nurgle, cannot join a unit of pink horrors. Also, this has changed the way that Chaos Icons works. They have gone down in point cost, and they still make sure that the demons that end up next to it doesn't scatter, but only if they are of the same alignment. Thus, if you have 10 Plague Bearers on the board with an icon, and you deep strike Plague Bearers next to it, they won't scatter. If you deep strike Bloodletters, they will scatter a d6. But then you have to think about the fact that you now have 20 guys in a unit. Deep striking 20 Bloodletters next to 20 Plague Bearers, d6 inches, it actually means that you're basically just putting them on each other. So yes, icons are super if you have like lots of Nurgle entries or lots of Bloodletters or lots of Demonettes. The same alignment, basically, but that's also why they have gone down in cost. I think this is the biggest changes at the moment that I can think of. Again, I haven't gone through the codex all too long, so. And I will make this upcoming week a series of reviews of the codex, just as I did for Dark Angels. I won't go through the point cost as I did because I'm not really sure that was allowed. But I will compare it to my old Demon Codex. Also, I will go through, as I said, the psychic powers, the warlord traits and everything that goes along with it so that you get a full review of the Codex. And now I'm off to make an unboxing video. Okay? So stay tuned and bye bye.